Good evening. Welcome. Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, good evening.
All right. Can I request some more videos on, please?
Atma Namaste.
Atma Namaste. How are we doing?
Good, doing good.
Good, good, good.
Atma Namaste.
Atma Namaste. Hi, Payal.
Namaste.
Atma Namaste, Neena.
Hi, how are you, Simi?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good, good. I don't know how many people over here are from the Pranic Healing School. I think quite a few. I should ask actually, where are you joining in from? You can, while we have, we'll give 1 minute or 2 minutes for the others who are wanting to join. And let us know where you're joining in from.
Neena, this is Vijayashri here, joining in from Tiruchirappalli. So
nice.
I'm into pranic healing since 2013.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Nice meeting you after a long time.
So this is not a pranic healing session. It's more of a posture therapy session, posture related session. And it's a session that some of my people, people I know have been asking me to do for quite some time. It's just that between one thing and the other, I've not been able to. And now finally I said, okay, let us take this because it's an important part. And the more I'm practicing, I've seriously got into posture alignments therapy during COVID times when so I'll just start with a brief background. Meanwhile, like I said, it would be lovely if I could have people turn on their videos. It's always nice to see people. Thank you to those who've turned it on. And like also I say, since you're joining in from the comfort of your home, it's okay if you're not wearing, fancy clothes, you've not done your makeup, you're still some of you might be, already getting ready for the evening. I don't know which part of the country or the world you're joining in from. So just be comfortable. But more and more, as I work with my patients, so my background is that I am a trained physiotherapist and also a certified pranic psychotherapist. And I'm an instructor for pranic healing courses, different courses. I run a wellness center. And during COVID times, actually, I also went into posture. I've always been interested in posture right from the time I was studying in college. I started out to become an MBBS doctor. And then I decided that I want to go in for more natural means, of healing. I did a course in naturopathy. I've done 3 different courses in nutrition. So wellness is something that interests me, intrigues me. There's so much out there and more today because everybody, there's that WhatsApp University and Google Baba and everything that happens. It's so important to be well informed and educated. And everything I do, even with posture, really is actually quite in alignment with what we do also in pranic healing. The premise is that your body is an intelligent entity, it knows how to heal itself. All we need to do is listen to our body. And quite often, we shut off the natural ability of the body. We stop listening to it. And now it pains me to see that sometimes that shutting off is being done at a very, very young age, with little children as well. So even as a student of physiotherapy and all, I used to see all these parents putting children in walkers. And I would tell them, please don't do that. Get your child to go and walk on natural surfaces, on the grass, on the sand, on the mud, rather than just concrete floors, and all that, because it leads to a lot of other issues. And now even more so with all the fancy footwear that's come. About 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have so much fancy footwear that is there now, and I see that the footwear is also messing up people's posture. In fact, there's so much which has started becoming, which is considered almost normal today, which is not normal. To me, if your body is hurting, that should not be considered normal. To me, if in a society we are needing more and more hospitals, more and more doctors, that's not progress. A progressive society to me would be a society which is more peaceful, which is more healthy, which is pain-free, which is functional and happy. And the whole idea of posture therapy and the method that I follow is based on the Egoscue method. So I've trained in the Egoscue method. It's a US-based university, and the person who's the founder of this method is Pete Egoscue. Some of you have attended my sessions earlier, so you would have heard me talk about him. He was a soldier who had been told that he will have to just live with his pain after several injuries and surgeries and all that, and he refused to give up. And then he went and really studied the human physiology and figured that you don't have to live with pain. And he actually, kind of healed himself, and then he started giving out that system. So it's not a system which is very popular, well known to, in India at least, it's, very, very less known. But slowly, I think people hopefully are becoming aware. And my purpose is to make people, to create an awareness. All right, so let me share my screen again and let's start. Now, I always like to start any session with a small prayer. So please, let's just do a small prayer. You can keep your hands on your heart, or you can just keep them open. And to the Supreme Being, we thank you for all the blessings in our life. Thank you for divine guidance, divine help, and divine protection. Thank you for blessing everyone who's attending this session with a clearer understanding of the topic that we will be taking up. Thank you for blessing everyone with good health, with a pain-free life, with more awareness. Thank you, thank you. To all the spiritual helpers, to all the spiritual teachers, to our higher selves, we thank you for your blessings. In full faith, so be it. Take a deep breath, inhale, smile, and open your eyes. All right, so welcome to this session. And like I said, we are going to be, oh, where is my session screen gone? Give me a moment. So I did prepare I prepared a presentation for this. Here it is. All right, I called it From Soul to Spine because actually our feet are one of the most important part of our body that actually lead to proper posture. If you see how a child starts learning how to walk, you know how a child is born, they're lying down, then they start turning over, then they start doing what next? Let's keep this session interactive. What do they do next?
Crawling.
They start sitting. Then they go into crawling. And crawling is also, if you see different babies, it's quite fun. Try and just Google videos of babies crawling. You'll see they do it in a different manner. And then they'll start trying to stand up. And then eventually they stand up independently and they walk. Now, all of that happens because your feet give you that input of, you can say, your feet have almost at least 7,000 nerve endings. Some schools believe there are more than 200,000 nerve endings in your feet. Okay. And I think 30% of your bones are in your feet. Now, what happens is that the premise that we have in Egoscue is that, just a second, I want to remove this, yeah. Oops. Can you still see my screen? Just a second, I don't know what happened.
Yes, we were able to see.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what happened here. It keeps mama. Just a second. Then got it. Sorry. I must have pressed some button and it went off. So, like I was saying, in Egoscue, we actually say that pain is largely a byproduct of misalignment. So, if you have physical pain in your body, then it means that somewhere something is misaligned. And, you know, again, those of you who've attended my sessions, we talk about certain load joints. Your ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, these are your 8 load joints. If they're not stacked properly, if they are misaligned, then the muscles, some of the muscles will be longer, some of the muscles will be shorter than they should be, and it will put an uneven load on these load joints, which means that these joints will end up wearing and tearing in an abnormal way. And abnormal wear and tear will lead to pain in the body. Okay. So how many of you here have actually had pain in your feet?
I'm currently experiencing. I've been having it for the past 3 weeks now. It's quite unbearable. I've been trying healing. My trainer is healing me. And what I am doing is I'm just applying ointments and I'm doing yoga also.
Okay,
So
now
I'm just trying all possible ways to.
Here's something that I'd like to share with you. If you have pain in the feet, most likely the cause of the pain is not your feet. Okay, so in Egoscue, one thing that we believe in is that the site of pain is rarely the root cause of pain. The root cause is somewhere else. The area that is hurting because, one, it is misaligned, possible. Two, it is overworking. It's taking the job of something else in your body that is not doing its function properly. So oftentimes I've had people, in fact, I would say almost always, I've had people come to me who say foot pain and the jaw might be the cause.
Sorry?
I've had people, the jaw, you know.
Jaw. Oh, okay.
The shoulder might be the cause. The hip might be the cause. Knee pain, almost always, it's either the hip or the foot which is not working properly, or the upper body that is not working properly. I've had people, and I was a person like that. I had a tight jaw, and it would not heal because I was constantly, taking ultrasound. I was taking jaw mobilization, The reason was in my psoas muscle. So I won't go into, fancy terms here. It was in one of my hip stabilizers. Okay, partially, and of course I healed also, but I did pranic healing also. So since most of you over here are healers, of course healing has a huge effect. But since we know that our body is not, especially those of you who have a background in pranic healing or any other healing school, you will understand that we are not just the physical body. We are a combination of our physical and energy body. And we also have heard of the law of correspondence. One body affects the other. So if my energy body is misaligned, it will affect my physical body. And likewise, if my physical body is misaligned, it will affect my energy body. Okay. So if somebody has had foot pain, what are other issues you might have heard in the foot? You might have heard of tendon tears. You might have heard of sprained feet. You might have heard of bunions. A very, very common thing these days is a calcaneal spur. Have you heard of these terms? Have you heard of plantar fasciitis? I don't know how many people have plantar fasciitis. And what do? They keep treating the sole. They tell people to wear cushioned shoes. So I'm going to remind you again something that we learn also in pranic healing. So I'm just repeating it. Please keep an open mind because I'm probably going to be busting certain notions. I might be talking about things that are completely opposite to what you have heard. So I urge you to keep an open mind. Don't take me as an expert. I'm not an expert on footwear. This is something very recent for me. Just about, I came into learning about bare feet shoes just about 5 or 6 years ago. And I transitioned mostly to barefoot shoes. I love wearing heels, by the way. It's not that I don't, but I do it once in a while. Rest of the time, I'm actually using something called bare feet shoes, okay, barefoot shoes. And I've used it with many of my clients, many of my patients, and for them, it's almost been nothing short of a miracle in correcting so many other things. So what I was saying is that the whole idea that your feet are carrying your entire chain upwards, you're being carried, and they are giving your brain the input on how to specially stand erect. Now, when you're standing erect, where is your weight? On the feet. If your feet stop getting the right input the way they should get it, it actually affects the entire, you can say the kinetic chain, what we call the kinetic chain, right upwards, right up to your brain. Also, they stop sending the input to the brain. So the brain doesn't know when something is going wrong. We underestimate the intelligence of our body. So I don't get tired of repeating this a dozen times. Please start listening to your body. Your body is intelligent. Now, let's go into why in the first place should we go towards wearing or staying barefoot. Simply think about it. The original man, did they have all these fancy shoes? Do you know there are certain tribes in Africa who are actually, I don't remember the names now. There's one in Kenya. There are different regions of Africa actually who are known to be barefoot, and they are one of the tribes, according to the researchers, that don't have any issues of arthritis, foot pain, knee pain, hip pain, spinal issues, and all that. And they run long distances bare feet. Many tribes like that. Okay. And in the early times also, when people started wearing, except for areas where you're living in very, very cold areas, then you of course need to cover up your feet, otherwise you'll catch a cold. But if you see, even in those areas, I don't have pictures, but I'd gone to one of the museums in Europe, and over there they had these objects from, I couldn't find that picture right now. I have it somewhere. Shoes that were there, and I was really pleasantly surprised that those shoes were actually, even though they were warm shoes covering the whole foot and all, they were actually an ancient version of what we would call bare feet shoes today. Now, unfortunately, in the market, it becomes, these trends come and go. So there are a lot of bare feet shoes in the market, which claim to be bare feet, but they're not bare feet shoes. So I'll also take you through what is actually supposed to be the right barefoot shoes. So the first reason you should actually be looking at going barefoot is that the human body naturally has always been barefoot. Okay, it has evolved from being barefoot to now you are trying to wear shoes, which actually some of these cushion shoes and all came up only in the 1970s. Before that, they were not there. So some of you who belong to a generation pre-1970 or even in the 70s, if you were born in the 70s or the 80s, how many types of shoes do you remember? In India, we have the chappal, bata ka chappal, the flat. If you see a lot of laborers and all, what do they wear? It's a flat chappal. Or we used to have those canvas shoes. Do you remember those, some of you? Yes? Okay. Now, normal shoes, the kinds that I'm seeing these days, prevent the movement of your feet properly. And I'll again explain that in a bit. Not only do they prevent the movement of the feet, they disconnect you from the earth. They disconnect you from the earth when you're walking on the earth. And so the signals going to your brain are not going to the brain. So the brain doesn't know what to do. And after some time, when you're putting your feet too much in a comfort zone, certain muscles and certain receptors simply switch off. They just simply switch off. What you don't use will become redundant, will become non-functional. So that is what they do. So when your feet cannot move properly, there is other parts of the body that start compensating, which means there's more wear and tear, and which means it can lead to pain. And I'm reminding you again, just by wrong footwear doesn't mean you'll have pain in your feet. You may actually be having pain in your knee, in your hip, in your spine, in your neck, anywhere. Okay, so just keep that thing clear, that in EGOSQ, we don't consider the site, or we don't consider symptoms. We look at the body as a whole. If the whole body is aligned, then you will be pain-free and functional. If there's any misalignment, then there will be pain. But anyway, coming back to the feet. So what happens is, your feet are your primary players when it comes to giving you input, especially when you're standing and walking or running. Okay, especially in that. Now, this is what you are born with. Have you seen a baby's foot? So can you see that the toes, the upper area, can you see where my this thing is pretty wide? And when you're born, a baby is born, there's not a big arch in the foot, but as they start walking, they start standing, they start developing an arch in the foot naturally. By putting a child's foot into very simple, comfy shoes that I'm seeing these days, including the Crocs and the flip-flops, you actually cut off that natural input, and then there are more chances of children developing flat feet. How many of you have seen something like this, where the toes become narrow or displaced, or you'll see that they are gripping, they're literally going like this, they're not open like that.
Many people in my family.
That is a result of incorrect footwear. And the reason I'm doing this session is because I'm seeing, and ever since I've done the posture classes and all, I started noticing things, and it's alarming how many people I see going like that. Just a few months back, I had someone come to me, and I wrote an article on it also about leg length discrepancy. And they were being told to wear an insole and a different height shoe and whatnot. And unfortunately, I don't think I was able to, the person, really listen to what I was trying to tell this person. She went in for those insoles, and she went in for the higher elevated shoe, which will eventually actually roger the spine even more. And that is what is so painful for me to see, because instead of having a cure, you are just, it's like, you have pain, so you take a painkiller. What does that do? It just subsides the pain temporarily. It's not taking care of the cause. So the whole idea is that you have to go for the cause. So your foot is supposed to be like this, and as you grow up, it should still be like this, not like this. This is not natural. And this is years of wearing partially wrong footwear. And this person will, anyone who has a foot like this, I can bet they have backache, they have knee problems, they have shoulder problems. It's just the entire chain that gets affected. Okay. Now, so how do your shoes cause this misalignment? Because when you are wearing incorrect shoes, let's start with a narrow toe box. You're not letting your toes take the full weight. Also, most shoes that I have seen today, they have a slightly raised heel. And the other thing is the sole is hard and then it is cushioned. Either it's very hard or it's very cushioned. Both are wrong. Okay. So let's look at some of the common shoes that we have. How many of you have seen shoes like these? And some of them, by the way, will be sold as good shoes. If I had my way, I would chuck them all out. By the way, I told you, I love wearing heels. It's not that I don't wear heels, but I do my posture work before and after I wear heels to correct my posture. So nobody's saying don't enjoy fancy shoes and all that if you have to go for a party. But this kind of footwear, and especially stuff like this, which is super expensive, sold as very good for your feet and all, is also not okay. So let me just stop sharing for a moment. If you have a leg length issue, and if you've been told to wear insoles and you came to me, the first thing I would do is ask you to stop wearing insoles, stop wearing different height shoes. And the only way to actually verify, true way to verify that you have true leg length discrepancy is by taking what is called, it's a special type of an X-ray, which takes your X-ray in your standing position with your, femur, tibia, and fibula, all the bones in load-bearing position, and then they actually measure the length of each of these bones. In my 20 years of experience, more than 20 years of experience, I've come across maybe 2 people who actually had leg length discrepancy. All the other patients who came to me with leg length, so-called leg length discrepancy, was a false leg length discrepancy. Okay, I've talked about it in another session, but anyway. I have two people have their hands up. Swati ji, you have your hand up. Arushi, you have your hand up. So first, Swati, can you go ahead and open? And...
नमस्ते मैडम।
नमस्ते।
मेरे बच्चों को छाले हो जाते पैर में, तो काफी शूज से बहुत बड़े बड़े से पानी वाले बहुत पेनफुल रहते, तो वो उसका क्या रीजन हो सकता है? आपने बोला ना
छाला भी अगर आई होप एवरीवन कैन अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी, छाला भी अगर हो रहा है तो उसका मतलब कि कहीं ना कहीं आपके हाथों में, आपने देखा है हाथों में कैलसेस हो जाते हैं जब आप बहुत हार्ड वर्क करते हो, तो हो जाते हैं, इवेंचुअली वो हार्ड हो जाता है। कैलस एक्चुअली इज इन अ वे गुड, छाला इज नॉट गुड। दैट मीन्स कि कहीं प्रेशर ज्यादा पड़ रहा है, और सिर्फ प्रेशर ही नहीं, नमी भी है शायद, तो नमी भी, पसीना अगर उनको ज्यादा आता है, दैट इज ऑल्सो एक्चुअली too much of a sweaty foot is also not normal. Okay.
इन पर अभी आपने जैसे बताया था ना, जॉ माइनर चक्र, रूट कॉज कुछ अलग होता है।
हाँ बिल्कुल हो सकता है, इनफैक्ट 99% अलग ही होता है, पर आज मैं उसके ऊपर नहीं बात करूंगी, आज मैं जूतों के ऊपर बात कर रही हूँ, तो आई विल स्टिक टू दैट। बट if you're in Egoscue, you have to be a little bit like a detective, no one case is actually the same. You have to really go and see कि पूरा सिस्टम देखना पड़ता है, सिर से पैर तक। जैसे आप लोग सब काफी यहाँ पे मेरे को दिख रहा है कि प्राणिक हीलर्स हैं, you don't just scan the place of pain, do you not scan the entire energy body, all the 11 chakras, even the organs at times, to see कि energy blockage कहाँ है? तो similarly अगर आपके पैर में दर्द है, ऑलमोस्ट 90% कॉज कहीं और है, और अगर आपके कंधे में दर्द है, ऑलमोस्ट 90% कॉज कहीं और है। दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज ट्राइंग टू से इन द बिगिनिंग, राइट?
कैसे ढूंढेंगे
वो अब दैट इज व्हाट माय स्पेशलिटी इज, दैट इज व्हाट आई डू। ऑलराइट,
जब आपके पास आना पड़ेगा,
बिल्कुल आइए। सो दैट इज पार्ट ऑफ व्हाट आई डू, बट आई ऑल्सो टेक दीज सेशंस, तो अगर आप रेगुलरली अटेंड करेंगे तो थोड़ा थोड़ा आपको समझ आना शुरू हो जाएगा। प्लस आई ऑलवेज टेल पीपल, एनीबडी हु इज इंटरेस्टेड इन लर्निंग अबाउट posture, please read the book Health Through Motion by Pete Egoscue. Somebody can type it out. Arushi, you have a question?
Hi, Nina. Yes. So I have a friend who came to me for healing for other issues, but also is suffering from flat feet, causing, I suppose that's what at least she has been advised.
Now, most orthopedics and all will tell you flat feet hai to theek nahi ho sakta hai. They will give them foot arches to wear. Again, if you come to me or if your friend comes to me, I will tell them please tuck the arches out.
Right, because
I've had two very recent cases where
huh,
one of the persons, in fact, had spent a lot of money buying special footwear and arches and all, quite a lot.
exactly,
Okay. And when he
exactly.
came to me, I told him the first thing, if you have to take my therapy, is chuck those out.
Right, right,
I had a
right.
child who had come to me who had been told to go in for surgery because she had leg length discrepancy. And as it turned out, 5 sessions, and she did not have leg length discrepancy anymore.
Perfect.
So what I'm
Perfect.
trying to say is that I'm not saying these things don't exist. I'm not
Hmm.
saying arches,
So the
insoles are not needed. But
idea is to,
like I said, it's rarely needed. And if at all it is needed only temporarily. And that
right,
too, not arbitrarily. I would
right.
There would be a very specific point of time when I would suggest somebody
Intervention
doing
when
that.
it's required. Yes.
Okay. Like,
So,
I'm not a big fan of lumbar belts. I see so
right.
many people wearing lumbar belts. So
Hmm.
think about it logically. When I did the Egoscue course, when I went for it, when I invested in learning and all that, uh, the logic is what got me to do it
Through.
and put in
Hmm.
that time, effort, and money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The logic is what kept me in pranic healing as well. I have a
Absolutely.
very analytical mind.
Hmm.
And logically speaking, think about it. जो हिस्सा आप अपने शरीर का यूज नहीं करेंगे, वो हिस्सा वीक होगा कि स्ट्रांग होगा?
Weak.
Now, have you heard? I get patients who come to me and say, डॉक्टर ने बोला नीचे नहीं बैठना है क्योंकि घुटने का दर्द और बढ़ जाएगा. मेरे पास कोई घुटने का दर्द का पेशेंट आता है, उसको मैं नीचे बैठाती हूँ.
Yep. Yep.
What you don't use will become dysfunctional. That
Right.
is the general premise. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't need rest. Sometimes, if you have a broken bone, you need to rest it. But will you rest
Before
your
you can do it. Huh?
limb forever? No.
Right.
So people stop sitting niche and it worsens other things. Not only the knee, the foot function, hip function, and eventually, the whole body goes.
Right.
So
Right.
just that's what I said, keep an open mind. बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी होंगी जो when I will talk today about these things,
Uh-huh.
you will see
Just
that.
just to add to it quickly, because we are on this, so she was also advised at the same time to again क्या बोलते हैं, also train her feet to maybe like be able to wear hardened soles.
Oh
Now,
no.
one of the easiest
So
examples, of course,
big,
come to
big, big, big,
mind.
big no
Big, big
no.
no, exactly.
Big
So,
no no. I
so
will leave the recording of this session available for everyone, and you can please
yeah,
share it.
yeah,
Okay, it's a big no no. All right.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's that. Now let's come to regular shoes. Now this is my son's shoe. Okay. How many of us wear shoes like this? And you have Skechers and all that. Now this shoe, if you see, first and foremost, would you say there is a heel in this shoe? Heel, by heel I mean a lift. I don't mean pencil heels and all that. Is the heel higher than why is the shoe totally wrong? And by the way, he stopped wearing this most of the time, even though he spent a bomb on it. I don't let him wear it most of the time. He's gone for a run right now and he's wearing bare feet shoes too. So why do you think most shoes you'll see are like this? Now this feels good. If you're having pain in your feet, this has a nice soft cushiony thing. I can't really show you. It also maybe some shoes come with an insole, foamed sole. But can you see that the heel here is higher than the toe area? That is the first thing that is wrong. Then if you look at the toe area, can you see it is a pointed toe? That is the second major thing that is wrong. It'll get your toes to switch off. And eventually, someone who's going to keep on wearing these shoes is going to develop foot issues as well as other body issues. Third thing, this one is still semi-flexible, but it's not completely flexible. It's hard. When you don't have a flexible shoe, your foot function is switched off. A child cannot, if you put a child in a shoe like this, they will not learn to walk properly. They will end up having knock knees or bow legs and other developmental issues. Okay. If your sole, so a good shoe, the first thing to think of in a good shoe is it should have a wide toe box. It should be zero drop. And here also, I'm warning you, there are many shoes that claim to be zero drop, but they're not zero drop. And some of them are pretty expensive. So just because a brand is saying, oh, good for your feet, hush puppies, I don't want to really name brands. I have nothing against these brands, but what I'm trying to say over here is what is believed to be good for your feet is not. It might feel nice when you wear them initially, but what even the slightest heel lift does, it actually makes you feel that you can walk and run faster and easier. But what it does is, and I'm going to stand up and show you. So if I'm standing, I don't know if you can see me. Yeah, okay. Let me see. If I'm standing, right now I'm barefoot, but let's say I have a, I have a slight heel raise. What does it do? It makes my body lean forward. Now, when I'm leaning forward like that, I'll try to straighten up, and what will it do to my back? It'll either go like this, or I'll be slightly what we call a ski jump posture. So it makes you seem that you're walking easier or you're running easier, but you're actually switching off certain muscles. And have you seen older people? They fall a lot. They start bending forward. I think I took some pictures from the internet today, so I'm going to show you some of those. So when you have a heeled shoe, the moment you have a heel, even that littlest heel, 1 or 2 mm, 3 mm heel will cause you to tilt forward. You're not going to be erect again, whereas you're supposed to be erect. Okay? A barefoot shoe, these are pictures I've taken, and these are shoes that I own. 1, they have a wide toe box. 2, there are absolutely no heels, no insoles. This can be a partially false heel. This inside it's completely, flat. Your toes should not be lifted up. I see a lot of new barefoot shoes coming up, and they claim to be barefoot, but the toe is rising up. When the toe is rising up, your foot is still in walking, going in plantar flexion. The heel strike is not proper. And if you don't have proper heel strike, eventually, even athletes who run, so runners use these trainer shoes and all that, which you'll see with a raised heel. It actually helps them run faster, no doubt about that. But a very good example that a colleague of mine gave recently was, have you heard of athletes taking steroids? Have you heard of athletes taking steroids? What do steroids do? They give them more energy, they give them more power. But does that make it okay? Is it good for the body? So you might have trainers which may actually increase your speed. I'm not an athlete. I'm not into running fast, let's say. I do run, but I don't run fast. So speed doesn't matter to me as much. But if you constantly use those kind of shoes, you are effectively doing something like taking a steroid physically to your body. You're spoiling your footfall. Okay. So just because it helps partially doesn't mean it's going to be good. So just keep that in mind. So any shoe, first and foremost, if it has got a narrow toe box, is a big no-no. If it is hard, it is a big no-no. If it has got even not only shoe, even a chappal, if it has the slightest heel raise, it's a big no-no. If it is cushioned, it's a big no-no. So a barefoot shoe, what makes a barefoot shoe? There are 5 things that, are what helps us decide what is a barefoot shoe. A barefoot shoe is a shoe that is absolutely, first and foremost, I'll take my shoe. This is a barefoot shoe. Absolutely flat. There is no this thing. Secondly, it has to be completely flexible. Thirdly, it should have a wide toe range. Fourthly, it should have no heel. This I think I already said. So what did I say? It should be flat. It should have no heel. It should have a wide toe range. It should be completely flexible in all ways, so your foot can absolutely move in it. It's almost like a second skin for your foot. There should be no cushioning inside. And then it should have a good grip and a good fit. I see some parents pick up a slightly bigger shoe. That is also not right. So स्वाति जी आप बोल रहे थे आपके बच्चों के पैर में छाले होते हैं, अगर उनका फुट साइज ठीक नहीं है, so that will also lead to wear and tear. छालों का I was just thinking there could be other reasons also, but a barefoot shoe is a shoe, to repeat, which has zero heel, not even that 1 or 2 mm, which is completely flexible, has a wide toe box, and fits your foot well. So that your fingers, if you know, you get flip flops. I know Birkenstock. There was a time I loved Birkenstock. I thought they were so nice and cool. They look nice, status symbol, blah blah blah. But they're not. One, because they have a heel. Two, they make you grip to walk forward. You're shuffling. You're not walking. You know, your normal pattern of walking is heel toe, heel toe. When you don't have a proper grip, you end up actually using your toes more to try and grip and walk. So your toes go into that kind of a space, and over prolonged time, again, it'll lead to strain and plantar fasciitis and blah, blah, blah. Now, what is the typical thing that an ortho will give a patient who comes with plantar fasciitis? Cushion shoes. Now, the more you wear cushion shoes, the more you're switching off certain normal receptors of your body. It's like, I don't have to do the work, switch off. Same thing when I see people wearing a lot of lumbar belts. You're switching off the muscles of your lower back. You're not supporting them. You are getting them over time used to becoming lazy. So you're actually going to worsen the condition. Okay, so are we good so far? Questions so far? Is it making sense? So what you need to look for in shoes, I mean, today I was wearing these, I'd gone out, I was wearing these. Now, again, this is also not the best. Why? It's soft, comfortable, but again, it has a heel raise. So ideally, I would not. Now, unfortunately, you don't have too many bare feet shoes in the market in India. I'm still looking, and the thing, I had a pair of bare feet sandals, which I couldn't find today. I think I've left them somewhere where I'd gone. But those are, again, absolutely flat. You get them, you get that kind of a thing in Jaipur and all. You know, it's made out of leather, it's very thin, and it's not hard. It's important that the shoe not be hard or the sandal not be hard. Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Is that Purnima?
Yes. You said it's not good to wear lumbar belts. With exercise for some time to reduce the pain, is it not good to wear them?
Only partially. So that I said, when you need to rest,
Huh.
that's a very specific point of time.
Period. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would suggest it only very bare minimally. It's like, you know, if you have a fracture, you put a cast. But will you leave the cast on for life?
No. That's what I was like for a short period of time.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Simi, go ahead.
Nina, then chappals like those Kolhapuri chappals and jutis and all, are they good?
Not all. You have to see, is it really flexible or not? Most of them are not, unfortunately.
Okay.
So where can we find these?
I'll tell you the ones I'm using currently. I have no tie-ups with them, nothing, but it's what I found so far, and I'm still looking for more. I'm actually planning to, when I go out overseas, there are more options. In India, there are very few. Vijayashri, go ahead.
I also have same question. And what are the brands of shoes?
I will come to that. Okay. So
Sure. Thank you.
let me just go back to sharing my screen for a moment. So these, if you had asked me as a posture therapist or anyone, I couldn't put in more pictures. I can put 100 pictures here of how many wrong shoes are there in the market. So for every 100 wrong shoes, maybe I'll find one right shoe in the market currently. So I personally use these. I use Zen Barefoot, and this is an Andune, which I found. And recently I found a more economical option. They didn't have my size, so I haven't really tried it. I can't really talk about it from experience, but my patients have used it because they found their size is Impacto. Okay, that's what I found on Amazon, Impacto. Of course, Vivo Barefoot is the one that has been there in the market for a long time. But please be careful that some of these brands, even though they're very high-priced brands, can claim to have certain shoes which are bare feet, but they're not. So you have to, before you choose a shoe, just look at these 5 points. Is it zero drop? Is it thin soled? Is it flexible? Is it wide toed? And it should not have any cushioning or insole inside. So there was a pair I bought which looked very nice and everything, had a wide toe box, everything, but unfortunately they were too thick. The heel was too thick, so it was, you know, almost like 3/4 of an inch heel. That also disconnects you from what you should be feeling. Barefoot, as the name suggests, is literally you have something very simple. So it's almost that you are walking barefoot. Look at my shoe. It's literally, it's a very, very thin line. When I walk on a pebbled path, I feel the pebbles. So initially, it will not be comfortable. And that is why, please do not go shift and transition to bare feet shoes suddenly. If you've been wearing very cushioned shoes and you transition to these, you will damage yourself because your body is not ready for it. Okay, so you have to also transition to them slowly, and I'll talk about that in a moment as well. So your shoes that you're getting in the market these days are like this. I would say 95% shoes are like this. Even if they claim to be barefoot and they have this kind of a toe box, I will not go for them. So I have a patient who had these kinds of shoes, and for the last 6 months, in fact, I had to ask her to allow me to take her pictures. Guess what? This has started getting better. It's not completely okay now, but her feet have started splaying open properly now. And it has corrected her hip pain and knee pain. So you can reverse a lot of times, depending on what stage in your life and your state of bone structure you've reached, you can correct it. But obviously, if you've spent years in the wrong footwear, it will take time. So you have to also be patient with your exercises and everything and correct it. And like I said, it's not necessary that you will be having symptoms just in the feet. And if you have foot pain, probably the cause is somewhere else. I'll be taking up a session on better foot function in the coming weeks, and you can come and attend that session then. So if you wear wrong footwear, all these people, somewhere, this is somebody who's got bow legs and all, guess what is the cause? One of the major causes is wrong footwear and wrong foot function. And you see so many of these. The ages actually are going lower and lower now. I see people, I mean, this is not a very old person, but someone walking like this, I'm just looking at how his feet are falling and everything, and I know he will have pain in the body. Okay, so when you wear the wrong footwear, if you have incorrect dorsiflexion and plantar flexion is this movement of the foot, you know, so your foot moves in various ways. So if you look at your feet, I'd invite you all to please stand up, and if possible, please be bare feet right now for this. Okay, so I want you to look at your feet. Just look at them. Just observe your feet and see how your feet are shaped. Now, also, the first thing I tell people to do is just stand loosely. Let me move back. I'm trying to see how to set this up a little bit. Maybe this will help. Okay. So just stand like you normally stand. And first and foremost, keep your eyes closed. Stand and try and just check, where do you feel the weight on your feet? Do you feel it equally on your right and left? Or do you feel it differently? Make these mental notes for yourself. Don't correct your posture. Just stand normally, like you would. In fact, try to do this. Stop and then stand. Now, years of training, I stand properly, but you just stand the way you're standing and do a self-evaluation and check how are you standing? Where are you feeling the weight? Do you feel one leg is taking more weight than the other? Then take your attention to your feet and feel, is the weight fully distributed on all areas of your foot? Is it more on the toes, more on the heels, more on the inner side, more on the outer side? This is a quick evaluation you do. Next, don't move and look down at your feet. Just look down at your feet and check. Are your feet facing forwards? Is one foot facing out, one foot facing forward? Are both feet facing outwards? Are your feet facing slightly inwards? Or facing forwards, you check if your second or third toe, if I look at this line, if you can see this line here on my yoga mat, the second or third toe should be facing straight. It shouldn't be like this or like this, okay? So you just look for you when you stand, and what I can ask you to do is maybe catch hold of a picture of yours where you're standing bare feet and see, or even with shoes, and just check. When you're standing, are you standing like this? You have a tendency to stand like this, you check for yourself, okay? Then also pay attention to your toes. Are your toes, I don't know if you can see, when you are putting your feet on the ground, are they going like this? Are they scrunching? I'm exaggerating. Or are you able to just put your full foot down, expand your toes, like, you know, if in my hand you can see I've expanded all the fingers. Are you able to do that easily with your feet? Of course, do you have the arch of the foot showing, or do you have a tendency to be flat-footed? Using posture exercises, many cases can be corrected. I cannot claim to say 100%, but many cases can be corrected. So just check on that. Now, when you're transitioning from your regular footwear to a barefoot shoe, please don't do it, like I said, immediately. You have to do it. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. Okay. If you're transitioning from your regular footwear, non-cushioned footwear to a cushioned footwear, barefoot kind of a shoe, you're going in for a barefoot kind of a shoe, start by wearing it just for half an hour to 1 hour initially and observe yourself. Okay, if it increases the symptoms of pain initially, also remember when you shift like that, it will be uncomfortable for sure, because your body is so used to sitting on a cushiony surface, soft surface, right? It will be uncomfortable initially, but give it some time. What happens when you start wearing the correct footwear is the soles of your feet start becoming thicker. I mean, in my bare feet shoes, I've even gone rock climbing. I've actually gone and climbed rocks with those shoes, and it was okay. Okay, I've gone running with it. If I'm at a beach, I normally actually prefer to run barefoot, not even wearing that shoe. But you know, so day one, please don't start a marathon wearing barefoot shoes. So if you have to walk around for 8 hours, go for work and all that, 8 hours, do not wear a barefoot shoes to start with. For the first 1 or 2 weeks, just start with 1 or 2 hours. Okay, so completely ignore marketing language. I think I've already spoken about this. But for the first 2 weeks, you just wear them for 1 or 2 hours. Simultaneously, you should do some posture work for yourself. Okay, I will see how much time we have today. We are almost out of time now. I will give you maybe 1 or 2 exercises, correct your posture. And then as you increase your time in the barefoot shoe, if it still causes more pain, that means your body is not ready for it yet. That means you need to do more posture work, prepare your body, and then use the barefoot. But eventually, if you shift to barefoot shoes, most of my clients who've used it, I think practically everyone has come back and said, what a wonderful change it has been. It connects you back, your receptors which had gone to sleep start waking up, muscles which had gone to sleep start waking up, compensations start getting corrected. You go back to being more natural. If you have the possibility of walking bare feet in a clean ground or on grass, you should do it. It actually reduces inflammation. Most of you would have heard that. Of course, you absorb a lot more ground prana, but it's not just that. Because your feet are touching something natural, that is what we were born to do. It fires certain neurons in the brain, gives the brain certain signals to work on your body to heal. And that is why your feet are considered so important. You must have heard of the system of reflexology, foot reflexology. Yeah, it has the entire body's organs, everything are represented on points in the feet. So all of that gets naturally activated. How many people who you know who live in the villages and all suffer from arthritic issues and all that? Very few compared to the urban person. Has my audio gone?
It's become very low.
Really? Can you hear me properly or no?
Yes.
Yeah, now, yes.
Okay. So please type in the chat for the person, someone's audio. I think she needs to check, she or he needs to check their audio. So I just wanted to share this, that consider changing your footwear if you have pain anywhere in the body. I'm not just talking about footwear, foot pain. One of the aspects as a Nagoski therapist that I look at is the entire body. In fact, I listen to the patients because they have to tell me what the symptoms are, but I'm listening for their sake. It will not change how I treat them because I look at the whole body. And oftentimes people will come to me with foot pain or knee pain or hip pain, and I don't even make them do any exercise for the hip or the knee or the foot. Sometimes I'm only getting them to exercise their shoulder. Sometimes only getting them to exercise, even if they come to me for a shoulder pain, I'm getting them to exercise only their foot. I think Sudarshan has just taken 2 sessions with me, and he came with a knee issue, and I don't think I made him do a single knee exercise. Sudarshan, are you there? Go ahead. Purnima, are you there, or Sudarshan, who's there? Go ahead. Hello?
I don't think Sudarshan is there. Or
The hand is
he's in
up.
office actually.
I don't know. I'm saying your hand is up. So I saw the hand up on that name. So I said, whoever it is, go ahead. You have a question? If not, I'd like to share 2 or 3 exercises that you can do, which will help your foot and which will help you
I
transition.
have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lavanya. I'm a yoga teacher. So basically, does it depend on, I mean, like balance of the person also depends on this?
Everything depends on this.
Because I see a lot of people, actually 99% of people, even kids, have balance issues when they are doing exercises or asanas or
Yeah,
something.
because that's what
So,
I'm saying, that even kids are wearing all those Crocs and all,
yeah,
and they
yeah,
want
even kids
the
don't have
Crocs, I'm
balance.
sorry to say, are worst possible shoes you can give your child,
Yeah.
especially the flip-flops. The worst. They are hard. They are high-heeled. Even though it's flat, you know, some people say, but heel nahi hai isme. But they're like 1 foot above. I mean, 1 foot, I'm exaggerating, of course. You get what I'm saying, you know, 1.5 inch above the ground. It's not giving the body the regular receptive input that's required to be functional. So you're working on half the inputs that you're supposed to get. Even if you look at 7,000 nerve endings, you're switching most of them off. So you're literally, it's like walking blind. And you're growing up blind. That is why we are getting so many cases. It's not, of course, there are other reasons. Lifestyle now, everybody's got a text neck because they're constantly looking down on the screen and everything, all of that. That also contributes. My last session, if you remember, I did it on that, those of you attended. But a lot of the problem starts from the foot and incorrect footwear. And that's why I said, pick up a footwear knowledgeably. Don't go for marketing brands. Recently I came across a brand which said 0 drop and barefoot. And unfortunately, it's not, because it has a toe spring or it has a hard heel. So one pair of shoes that I bought, supposedly barefoot, is not barefoot. Everything it matches it. So I gave you 5 criteria. It ticks 4. It does not tick the 5th one. It's not flexible. So it's not barefoot. One I had picked up, everything okay, flexible, everything okay, but the heel was too high, not barefoot. So Gambol, Vivo shoes, they have some of the oldest brands, but they're expensive. So Barefoot is actually the brand, Zen Barefoot. It's expensive. if you want to start with a cheaper version and see if that works for you, go for Impacto. They're within 1,000 rupees. Andune is another. I use Andune, which is in the range of 2.5 to 3,000. Barefoot, Zen Barefoot, some of their sales shoes will be 5 to 6,000, or they even go up to 11, 12,000. I would still invest in something like that if I have the possibility, because at the end of it, you're going to pay way more buying cheaper and incorrect footwear than you would if you invested in the right kind of footwear. Okay, so it's already 8:30. 5 minutes for
Sorry to
questions, and 5
interrupt.
minutes I'll maybe show you some exercises. But yeah, go ahead.
Can you suggest a good footwear to start with within a budget of 1,000 to 2,000
I told you
to start
Impacto.
with?
Impacto.
Impactful.
Okay.
What was another one?
I use Andune and I use Zen Barefoot. Zen
Okay.
Barefoot is the most expensive out of the category. I don't have tie-ups with any of these guys, so I'm just based on what I've seen in the market so far. Okay, and of course you have Vivo. They have the Vivo Primus is a pretty good one, but it is expensive.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome. Any more questions? Those of you who would like to leave, go ahead and leave. Those of you who want to stay and do some exercises, another 10 minutes or so, are you okay doing that? All right, so the first exercise, which is something I've shared many times, one of my favorites, is actually by starting to lie down on the ground. If you can do it, you should have a chair or a table of, or a stool, which is this height. And you just put your feet up like that and lie down. And your hip, knee, and ankle should be in one line. So you shouldn't have your knees wider than your hips. You shouldn't have your foot rolling out like this. You shouldn't have them rolling in either. You should not have, I've got another stool here just to show you. You should not have something like this. This is not what I'm wanting, where my knees are higher than my ankles. This doesn't work. If you have something like this, then you need to put a cushion. But ideally, a stool, an ottoman, or a chair that allows you more or less to be perpendicular with your knees and hips a little perpendicular is good. And your bum shouldn't be lifting off either. So if it's too high, then your bum will lift up. We don't want that. So you just start by, I call this the static back. You just start by lying down in this position, hands out, palms facing up. If you need a cushion under your head, you can keep a cushion under your head. And you lie down in this position, at least for 5 minutes. We'll do it 5 minutes right now. But I tell patients to do this for 15, 20, 30 minutes if they can. And when they're doing this, they shouldn't be on the phone. Everything has to switch off and lie down. And you have to kind of allow gravity to just work on your spine and everything. Because given the desk jobs that we have, the hip muscles switch off for most people. And also because we are working on the computer and we are straining one side more, I see a lot of people whose upper body is kind of twisted. This exercise untwists the upper body, takes off the load of the lower back, and helps the gravity act on the spine and actually balance the spine. It's a wonderful, wonderful exercise. I haven't come across anyone who doesn't like doing this, but my colleagues tell me that there are maybe very little tiny percentage of people who will not like this exercise. But usually, this is one of the best exercises that can help you balance your spine. Okay, so start in this at least 5 to 10 minutes. I normally also tell people that after every exercise, evaluate how you feel in the body. So stand up again and check. It's a good idea. But also after, there's always a before and after. It's always good to check so that you're more aware. This is the first exercise that you should be doing if you're, it will help your footwork. The other exercise, so do this at least for 5 minutes. Stay there if you're already in that position. If you're not, you needed a setup, then maybe you're not there. But if those of you who can, do it for at least 5 minutes. And then I'll go on to the next one. Also, posture work needs to be done every day. It's not once a week. It's something that you'll have to do every day if you want to really maintain this thing. It's quite simple, but yeah. We'll leave another 2 minutes for the ones who are sitting in, who are doing the exercise. So in that position, you have to let your body just sink into the floor. Everything, switch off everything. Relax, take deep breaths, and just let yourself sink into the floor. Feel your body completely relax. The second exercise, which is a very good exercise to do, is again on the floor. You can do it in the same position. This is one version of it. Or you can do it without the stool. So you have to actually, I prefer to do it without the stool. So I'm going to leave that. You have to lie down. See if you can see me better now. So you have to lie down. Okay. Again, your hip, knee, and ankles and toes have to be in line. Then you take 1 foot up. Now, 1 foot up, and you grab your thigh with your hands. But when you're grabbing your thigh with your hands, your shoulders shouldn't come up. They have to be completely relaxed. Your foot on the ground, the toes should be pointing up to the ceiling. Pull your toes back towards your knee. Your knee should not be like this. It should be, so this foot is not passive, it's still active. And in this position, you just do foot circles. Complete foot circles in both directions. And after you've done full foot circles clockwise and counterclockwise, you also do point and flex. Now, you have to remember that the work has to be done by the ankle. So when you're doing foot circles, the rest of your leg should not be moving. It's not this. It's only the foot that is moving. Okay? When you're doing this and that, your foot should not be going here and there. It's just this exercise. And then you change legs and you do it also in this. Do it for 2 minutes each, and it'll help. The third exercise that will help is doing standing calf stretches. So you can stretch a calf. I like to do it next to a wall. I'm not sure I'll be able to show it here, but maybe I'll try and put some videos, links to the videos. You should actually stand with your hands on the wall. Let me see if I can show you better here. But what's more important is that you see my foot and not the hands. The hands are on the wall. So my hands are on the wall like this. And you take 1 foot close to the wall and you go forward till you feel a stretch. So you actually have to do a calf stretch. Another way of doing it, you can actually, there are many ways of doing a standing calf stretch. You just get 1 foot ahead, the other one, bend both knees, and then slowly lean forward. So you'll feel the stretch on the back foot. Hold it for a minute and then change legs, lean forward, you'll feel it on the back foot. So you can, do these exercises, start with a static back, do foot circles, point flex, and then do a standing calf stretch. You can also add calf raises, but that only if your feet are strong enough to handle them. You shouldn't be getting pain in any of these exercises. Okay. So as long as you do this, these are just general exercises. People might need specific ones, and that I can only evaluate individually and then tell them. But these are some of the exercises that you can also do to help your posture get okay, and then choose the right footwear. Okay, so I'm sorry we've gone over by 10 minutes. I'm sorry we didn't have so much time for doing the exercise. I thought I'll take you all through the exercise and make you feel the difference in how your foot feels better, but maybe that'll be for another session. But anyway, I hope that it gave you an idea of why the right footwear is very important. I hope it at least got you to think differently. Don't take my word for it. Do your research if you want to. I've done tons of research over the last 6 years on this. I've been experimenting on my body. I've changed my footwear. I've done it with my patients. I know it works. But please be well informed. Don't go by advertising. Like I said, unfortunately, maybe they're well-meaning companies, but a lot of stuff is sold because it's the in thing, but it's not the correct thing. So I think if
just one last question, if I may ask.
Please go ahead.
Vijayshri here. The thing is, I've been using this floaters from Bata. I mean, I generally buy from Bata, and floaters are the ones that I'm using for the last 5 years, because that I shouldn't, right? So, I mean, I'll definitely buy one of the shoes that you had suggested. My
If
only
you have
question
plantar
is,
fasciitis and foot pain, then there is a whole sequence. So again, if you have plantar fasciitis, there are certain exercises.
I had, or I'm not sure if I still have plantar
The
fasciitis, but I've
the
had
easiest
calcaneus
way to
spur as
yeah,
well.
the easiest way to check that calcaneal spur is a bony outgrowth. You can use, if you're a pranic healer, you can use healing for that and simultaneously also certain exercises. Typical of plantar fasciitis and even a calcaneal spur for that is the first thing in the morning when you get up from the bed and you put your feet down on the floor, there's a lot of pain.
Right now, I don't have that. I used to have that before. But with the other question that I have is I would definitely go in for one of the brands that you had suggested. I would try them.
There are many others.
But
By
my
the way,
question
it's not
is,
necessary that it's only a brand. These are the ones I found. You just look for the 5 properties I told you. Thin,
sure.
wide foot, well strapped, no heel, zero drop, and flexible. Flexible. Yeah, no hard shoes. And not also neither hard nor super cushion.
That was my question basically, because if it is too hard, the one which I use at home, I recently just purchased it yesterday, Ortho Comfort from Bata. Cool.
It cannot
Yeah,
be hard.
I got it. Okay.
So if you see,
And it should not be too cushioned as well.
No.
Too
This is
soft as well.
literally, it's like literally, I'm not wearing anything. I'm walking literally. I mean, of course, I'm wearing something, but the feeling is that I'm walking literally barefoot.
Cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks for your time and patience.
No worries. Simi, did you have a question?
Yeah,
Simi,
please.
let's go.
Yeah,
I'm here. If somebody wants to leave, please go ahead and leave. I'm here for more questions if you want. I'm sorry I overshot the time, but for those who have to leave, please go ahead and leave. No problem.
Nina, I wanted to know, like, I'm generally like barefoot at home. So, is it okay, or we should?
Good. I'm also generally barefoot at home, or I wear very thin chappals.
We don't wear chappals inside the house. So, is that okay? That doesn't cause
That's
any
okay.
problem.
That's okay.
Okay. Fine. Because these days, like people say, no, you should wear footwear or something. घर का चप्पल होना चाहिए and all like that way. If not, is that?
I prefer to wear a chappal, especially also when I go to the loo and everything. I don't like, but and also the flooring of our houses is not the best. We are not meant to walk on only hard surfaces. Please pay attention to the word only. Human beings are not made for walking only on hard surface. We were made to walk on grass, on mud, on sand, also on rocks. So we are made to walk on a variety of surfaces. And usually most of our houses today are hard surfaces, concrete. When I go walking, I try and walk not on a track. I like to walk in the garden. I'm lucky at my center, I have a huge garden. So I like to walk in the garden on the grass. And there I can take off my shoes and I walk barefoot. So,
Yes.
Jharna, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I wanted to say I also wear the Bata floaters, but I have they found that I have fasciitis plantar.
Plantar fasciitis, yeah.
Yeah, and both the feet. So with the flat slippers, I cannot walk.
I would have
I
to
can
do an
walk, but not
entire
for
new session to talk about plantar fasciitis. At the moment, I don't think I have enough time to ask you, but
yeah.
yes, for the moment, you can wear slightly cushioned shoes, but then plantar fasciitis tells me definitely the upper body kinetic chain is not working properly. The foot is not loading properly, and that is why there is inflammation in the soles. Plantar fasciitis, itis, stands for inflammation. So you might need to work the rest of the body. Heel, if you are a healer, heel. You can use something called the contrast bath that we do in physio, which is really helpful. But like I said, I would have to spend another half an hour explaining to you how to cure plantar fasciitis. So maybe I'll do a session on what you can do from the posture point of view for plantar fasciitis, but I will need at least half an hour to do that. And eventually, I would say, no matter what you have, eventually come back to being as natural as possible.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the current society has made us super dependent on things and non-functional.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing.
Thank you. I'll wait for your next session. Thank you. You always explained very nicely.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank
Any other questions, or shall we just close now? So if you need to get in touch with me, anyway, I will again share. You can take a screenshot. So basically choose the right shoe, transition gradually. If you feel there's pain, that means your body is not prepared for it. A little bit of soreness is normal. It will happen. It's like when you start on any exercise regimen the first time, it will cause, the body will revolt to some extent. Pain is not normal. Strain, stress, tension is normal. Actually, they are good signs. But pain, the method that we follow is called pain-free. Pain is not normal. Pain is your body yelling out and screaming and saying, pay attention, this is not good. Painkillers only snooze the alarm. They don't correct the problem. So always try and think, are you correcting the problem or are you snoozing the alarm? That's the approach I tell people to have. And that's the approach I have. These are the numbers if you want to fix up an appointment, even a personal one-on-one appointment. You can take a personal appointment. I consult online, offline. I prefer offline, obviously. A single session can take anything from 60 to 90 minutes when I do a proper evaluation. And then I prescribe whatever I prescribe. Okay, but yeah. The idea today was not so much to give specific exercises, but give a general idea and get people to start thinking that they need to, look also on your footwear and your posture. That could be a major cause of pain. All right, so thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you again. I hope this will get you to at least start researching. Read the book if you want to. Read up on the Agosti method, and wishing everyone a pain-free life. That's it. All right. So I just like to say a closing prayer to the Divine Supreme God. We thank you for all the priceless blessings. Thank you for giving us this possibility to get together, to study, to learn. Thank you for blessing each one of us with a pain-free life, with a functional life. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.